Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Gabby. I'm an online dating coach where I help you transform your confidence to live your best lives inside and outside of a relationship. If you are someone who struggles with confidence, never know what's going wrong in your relationship, always in a situationship, can't get them to commit, always feeling like second best, no one ever loves me, I got you. I got your back. It's something that I've been through. I've been there. I know how to get out of it. I've helped so many people at this point get themselves inside of healthy and loving relationships. So if that's what you're looking for, please hit that link in my bio to find out a little bit more about the packages that I have to offer. Guys, I moved rooms. I need to talk about this because there was a lizard in my room and I freaked out. I cannot stand lizards. I don't know where this lizard is at now. It could be in this fucking room, but somewhere in this house, and I'm terrified every night going to bed. I just think of The Parent Trap, and if you haven't watched The Parent Trap, why have you not watched The Parent Trap? Also, she has like a lizard crawl up her face, and I swear to God, if I woke up with a fucking lizard on my face, I would die. I would literally burn this house down, and I would move immediately. So anyway, that's why I'm in a different room. I literally changed rooms because I didn't want to have lizard problems, even though it could be anywhere at this point. So pray for me. If you could, please leave that 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're watching this. Hit that like button if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, turn on that bell notification so you'll never miss another episode. I was thinking about this the other day and I wanted to kind of just thank you for watching this because there are so many podcasts out there that have really useful information that are super entertaining, that are super high level production. And then there's me sitting in a bedroom recording in front of like a janky camera. But thank you for listening. Like, this really honestly means so much. I was looking at my how many people listen to this on like Spotify, and I hadn't been keeping track of the numbers for like a couple of weeks. And when I looked back, I was like, holy shit. A lot of people are listening to me right now. And this is kind of like a weird, unusual thing. But thank you. I'm very blessed and thankful for every single one of you that's watching. I just wanted to say that. It kind of like hit me. I'm like, holy shit, like what? I have been doing this for like a little over a year now, and I did not even think that anyone was going to listen to this or that I would even have it in me to keep this a consistent type of thing. So thank you. I really truly mean that. You could be listening to anyone right now and you're choosing to listen to me. So thank you. I know that like I could probably shut the fuck up right now and just keep moving, but I really wanted to say that I do appreciate it. At this point, it can't just be like my friends. So, because I don't know that many people, but I do know a lot of people actually. But anyway, if you're just watching this to hate, what's up? Hello. If you're watching this because you want to know, thank you. And I appreciate regardless. I appreciate you regardless. But let's get into the fucking episode. You guys, so I've been on an Love Island type tip, and I have been, my life has been consumed with Love Island. It's something that every summer I look forward to. I'm a big Love Island girl. If you're a fan, let's talk about it, because I have no friends that watch this. I was watching it. I'm still watching the UK one. I'm like mid-season on that one. Haven't caught up yet, but I'm fully caught up with the USA one. And I know a lot of people don't like the USA one because it's like boring, whatever. Here's the thing with the USA one. I was watching it, and Bergie, if you know, you know. If you watch it, if you don't watch it, let me just give like a quick background. Bergie, he's just like a sweet boy, right? Like the guy that is like always friend zoned. He's like not bad looking, but he puts himself in the friend zone. It made me think like there's so many guys out there that would be great guys, but they're put so far into the friend zone. And then on the other hand of that, there's girls. There was a girl, I forgot which one this happened with because I'm like in between both seasons, so it's confusing me. I probably shouldn't do this, but one of the girls is like, I'm always picked second. Like, I'm never anyone's first choice. You know, I'm tired of being like the second option. And I was like, oh my God, I used to say that all the time. Like, I was always someone's second option. I was always picked second. I was never like the front runner. It sucked. And I feel like they're kind of similar. You're dealing with the same kind of problem because I feel like girls get friend zoned a lot less. In a sense, it's kind of the same thing because you're letting that person allow you to be an option, right? But you're not the top option. I was watching Love Island and it made me kind of think like I need to make an episode on being friend zoned because I think that's something, being friend zoned or put as a second option, because I think it's the same thing. It's kind of the same thing, right? One's a little bit more far left, but I think it's the same concept, and I wanted to get into it because I think that we've all kind of experienced this. If you deal with like low self-esteem, a lot of people come to me as clients or now as like friends or whatever, and like, why is it that I'm always the second best? Like, I date someone and then they find their person and then they come back to me because they're bored. They realize that I wasn't a bad option. It's like, you were never a bad option, first of all. Let's start there. We teach people how to treat us, right? And how we want to be treated. So I think that's where it stems from. And I think a lot of people that deal with this, that feel like they're always friend zoned or feel like they are always second best, I think we're telling people that we're always going to be around for them, that we're always going to be an option for them. So, of course, naturally, I think that if someone knows that you're always going to be there for them, that you're always going to be an option, it's going to make it that much easier for them to go off and like explore other options while they still have you on the side. And I think a lot of people that deal with this don't know where this is stemming from, how to change it. So I wanted to get into that today and kind of, help out the friend zoners. I've talked to a lot of guys actually that ask for help and like being friend zoned. I want to get into both sides. It's a struggle, and I don't think a lot of people know how to get out of that box. It's tough to climb out of the box, but it's so doable. It's subtle things that will put you so far into a box of like, I could keep them for later. I mean this analogy, and absolutely no disrespect at all, but if you are always a second option or always in the friend zone, I need you to listen to this analogy. You are being looked at as the frozen meal. What do I mean by the frozen meal? It's the reliable option, right? And maybe you're a Trader Joe's frozen meal. People enjoy eating this. People will buy this every single day, right? But it's not the first option. Like a fresh meal, a meal at a restaurant, takeout, whatever is always going to be the first option. But the frozen meal, you can save it for later. You don't necessarily have to eat it that week or it's going to go bad. It's always going to be there as an option in case you get hungry or in case you had a drunk night out and you want to get back and you're like, oh, you know what? I have these nuggets that I can throw in the oven. The thing with that is that, yes, it's a nice option, but it's not the best option. How do you get yourself from being that frozen meal option into a fresh option is having boundaries and standards. I hate when people say like, oh, like girls never go for the nice guy. It's like, that's not the case at all. It's the fact that you have to have boundaries and standards for yourself. If you're willing to accept anything and take anything, let people walk all over you, not have like a strong core, if you're willing to abandon yourself for someone else, someone that you're really interested in, if you leave all of who you are to be in this relationship, girls aren't going to trust you enough to want to be with you. And I think that is like really what it comes down to. It's not, we love a fucking nice guy, and I think that I wish men could understand this. It's not the fact of you being nice, it's the fact that you're willing to abandon yourself for someone else. Being over the top, too nice, always available. If you're putting everything out there, you're so willing to give someone your all, there's no bit of mystery of even wondering whether or not, okay, like maybe he does like me. And don't make this a fucking game either. Play your cards right. If you're throwing yourself into like it has to happen right now, I'm like trying to control the dynamic and suffocating you so you have no room to breathe or even think about this, people are going to be turned off by this. And I think that this isn't always the case. Guys that are always friend zoned, I think it could be one of two things: either being over the top, like I'm ready to jump into a relationship with you, and like you're throwing yourself into being with someone so quickly, it's like it's very suffocating, and it feels like I need some space to breathe. You are giving me way too much. In Bergie's case on Love Island, if you know, you know, he throws himself at people, and it's like, slow down. I hate it when men say that nice guys finish last, or like women never go for the nice guys, or the nice guys are overlooked. Here's the thing. It's not that we don't like nice guys, because I think a guy who is nice, who has his masculinity, who is assured in himself, isn't afraid to say no, okay on his own, we respect that so fucking much. That guy is gonna have hella success in dating. Whereas man without direction will turn to people pleasing for validation and acceptance from someone. And when he's looking for that acceptance within a woman, she's going to notice that right away, either consciously or subconsciously, and not respect you as a result of that. The men that put the women on a pedestal and cling to her, and I think it's really what it comes down to, is when you're clinging on to something so much and it has to happen, and like you can feel that energy as a woman especially, but men feel this way too. When you're clinging on to something like it has to happen, it's scary as fuck, and like no one ever wants to feel like they're suffocated by anyone else, especially when it's in the very beginning. Why are you clinging to this so hard? Why are you abandoning yourself and your own standards and trying to please me so much? It's questionable now. It's, you don't have any respect for yourself now. A man who's fully in his masculinity, has direction, knows what he wants, is going to get what he wants because he's standing true in who he is. And women will cling to that so quickly. If you're looking to get out of the frozen meal section and into the very first option, you have to have the boundaries so firm that you're not willing to take any bullshit. In the beginning stages, allow them to see other options, allow them to be themselves and do what they want to do, figure it out on their own. And if they're not reciprocating your type of energy, I think the energy has to have a flow. If you're giving way too much and they're giving this much, they're always going to keep you as an option, because they know if they were to leave that situation, if they were to move on to something else and fuck around with someone else, they know that you're going to always be there because you're giving them so much. Of course, they're going to explore their other options while they have the chance to do so, until you put your foot down and say, I'm not dealing with this anymore. This is what I want. This is what I expect. Until you're willing to give up your people-pleasing ways, you're always going to be that second option. You're always going to be the option where someone can do what they want to do. They can date around. Which is fine. You should let someone date around in the beginning. But as soon as you start to get serious and the feelings are starting to get there, you have to lay down the law somewhere. Don't be afraid to walk away from any situation where you feel taken advantage of, or you feel like that person is leaving you as an option. They're only seeing you when it's convenient for them, or use you when they need you and then drop you when they don't need you and they have their own lives and their own friends and their own dates that they're going on. Don't let them use you as an option. You are the first option. And if you don't think that, if you allow people to just treat you on the sidelines, that's how they're going to treat you for the years to come. You're probably not ever going to get into a relationship with this person if you're always going to be there no matter what, because why would they commit fully to you? You're giving them no reason to fully commit to you because you're giving them everything already. It's like, why would I tie myself down to someone that is always going to be there? If I step away and do whatever I want, they're still going to be there. So why would I not just keep them on the sidelines? If they want to put me on a pedestal and, bow down to me and allow me to do whatever, I'm going to do whatever. I think that there's a lot of people that are like, okay, this is a really good person to have around in case I need them. I knew someone that he was obsessed with this girl. Oh my God, this is my person, whatever. And she would call him around whenever she needed something, like, oh, hey, can you help me fix my car? Or, hey, I got a flat tire. Can you come help me with that? Or hey, I just moved into my apartment. Do you mind, helping me build furniture? And then would just like drop him when she didn't need him and drop in occasionally, but it was always on her time. And I think that if you ever get yourself into a situation where you're allowing them to like all of the hangouts, all of the whenever you're seeing them, it's on their time instead of like, oh, it's convenient for both of us. If you're always planning around their time, if you're always meeting all of their needs, they're going to look at you as a second option. Knowing when to lay down the law and be like, hey, look, I have feelings for you. If you don't have feelings for me back, totally cool, but let's keep it moving. We can either be friends or whatever, but I'm not going to stay around and like be an option for you, because what it comes down to is you're allowing someone to treat you that way. Don't play the victim here. I used to play the victim and be like, oh, like, what's wrong with me? Like, everyone always uses me as a second option, but I'm giving them so much. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. What more can I give? You're giving too much. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. If you feel like you are being a second option, you are giving too much. Take a step back. Be in your own space. Figure your own life out. I think what's attractive is when someone is living in their purpose, willing to walk away from any situation that doesn't serve them, willing to walk away from anyone that feels like they're being used by, and not throwing yourself and being clingy towards anyone. Because when you're living in purpose, when you're living your highest truth, you're not going to look at someone else as a direction. You're not going to look at him as like your savior to all of your problems. I used to do that. I'm not even going to lie. I used to look at not a savior to all of my problems, but I didn't know like what I wanted out of life. So I figured if I were to jump into a relationship, that whatever direction that he was going in, I would hop on board with him and just play the wife or play like the girlfriend and be a support system to him. And this is like, I really truly think that this right here is supposed to be part of the lessons that I'm supposed to learn in this life. Truly, deep down, it's been in like all of my fucking birth chart readings. It's like when I put too much of my energy in someone else's path, then I get lost. And like that's like the ongoing message of like my life. I'm glad now that I have my own direction. I'm doing my own thing. I love what I do. I'm helping people. It feels fantastic. I know what I'm not willing to settle for. Sometimes I do creep into slowly being like, okay, fine, like a little bit of a people pleaser tendency here and there. And I'm like, snap out of it, Gabby. Like, this is not what we're doing. We're leaving that shit behind. And I think that eventually it'll get to a good point. I think I'm in a really good state right now, but there's tendencies and there's times where those types of things come up. But being aware of them and knowing when to stop them is huge, and it's so important. If you feel that you are constantly being friend zoned, always second chance, I want to say this, add in another section to this being friend zone thing, because I think that there's a whole nother section of men that I didn't even address in this. I'll get there. But if you feel like this resonates with you of being put second and like being on the back burner, that's why. Get your own shit together first. Focus on your boundaries. Focus on being your best person. That's what's going to make you attractive. The whole other subsection of guys being put in the friend zone, because I know that there's a few guys that I'm thinking of like off the top of my head that have come to me about being friend zoned. The whole other subsection is you're allowing too much comfort from women. You may be lacking that masculinity of you're like one of the girls with her. Like you're playing like the girlfriend part that she can talk about boys with, and you're being the best friend that like all of the girls want to have around. Like the guy with so many girlfriends but never can tie one of them down. This is the kind of guy that I'm talking about. You're focused too much on just being friends instead of putting her automatically in a romantic kind of setting. If this is something that you struggle with, first date needs to be a romantic setting, because if she can't feel that zhuzh, she's going to automatically put you in the friend zone box. I think that you unintentionally are doing this for these types of men. I think that they are unintentionally putting themselves in the friend zone by being so quickly like, oh, like one of her girlfriends that she like talks to and like she feels really comfortable and safe with you and gonna hit you up about all of her boy problems because now she feels that comfortable with you. I think that there's sometimes you need to lay down your foot and be like, I'm not one of your girlfriends. Find one of your girlfriends to talk about this with. Cool, we can start off as friends. I think beautifully what will happen is that friends maybe turns into something more. But for me, I think I'm going to put you in one side of the box or another. And if I see you as just a friend, it's really hard for me to get you out of that box. You know, there has to be a little bit of flirting. If you're only strictly just being friends, then just be friendly, if that's all you want. But if you're into a girl and you constantly see yourself getting into the friend zone, if you're into a girl, guys, if you're into a girl, fucking flirt with her. And it doesn't have to be like make her uncomfortable flirt with her. Some comments, drop some little hints. She can pick it up and run with it. I think what happens is that you're so kind, so nice, so understanding that you put yourself in the friend zone. And if you just put yourself into the friend zone like that, it's really hard for women to get outside of that box and think about you romantically. So putting yourself in a romantic setting where you're flirting and there's like a little bit of banter, and the last thing you want to do is comfort zone for her where she's like, oh yeah, I love him, but like as a friend, and now all of the other guys that she talks to, she's going to come to you for advice. That's, if you're into a girl, show a little bit of flirting, and don't make her uncomfortable, but like a little, drop some hints here and there, like, oh, like what if we ended up together? How funny would that be? Or like something so small, see how she reacts. Now you know moving forward, if you're already too far in the friend zone with her, it is what it is. Move on to the next person, but now you know how to handle it. It's flirt from the beginning, because it's really hard as a woman to get you outside of the friend zone box. Flirt from the beginning. Once we put you in the box, it's hard for us to navigate outside of that. And the thing is, I get that you want to make her feel comfortable and you want to build that friendship first, but there has to be little tidbits of like, I'm flirting with you, just so you know that I'm interested. And then eventually, if it gets to the point where you're not sure and it's from the beginning that you've dropped the hints of being flirty, then there needs to be a conversation of like, hey, by the way, I'm like catching feelings, I'm into you, what are we doing here? I kind of made this for the guys, low key, but I also think that the girls that watch this, I think a majority of my audience is girls, but I did want to address this because I feel like a lot of guys have come to me about being in the friend zone or being a second option. I think that it's very common for women to feel like a second option, and we don't talk about that enough. Have your own boundaries. You don't need to be clingy with anyone. You don't need anyone. Know that you are fucking so secure and whole on your own that you don't need anyone, but it would be nice to tag along your journey. Wanting someone is completely okay. Most people want someone in their lives, whether they want to admit it or not, but you know, it is what it is. That is it for this week's episode, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope that maybe there's a piece or nugget of 2, 3, or 4 that you could take from this. I feel like this is a really good topic that not a lot of people talk about, and if you feel like you're just like the nice person that always gets overlooked and always is there's a time and place to put your foot down. Don't let people walk all over you. Okay, bottom line, you're not a punching bag. Don't take bullshit. If you feel like you're being an option, it's because they think of you as an option. You can fully get yourself out of there and walk away whenever you need to. Also, have the conversation. It's not that hard. People are so quick to walk away from anything that feels uncomfortable, but have a conversation. It's really not that hard. If they turn you down, so fucking what? There's so many people out there that are wanting you and would be so open to have you. There's people that are praying for you right now. There's people that want you so bad in their lives that have not even met you yet. So if one person's like basically telling you to kick rocks, or like showing you that they want you to kick rocks, go fucking kick some rocks in a different direction, you know? Kick some rocks at them. Fuck them. Bye. Anyway, that's it for this week, and I will see you all next Tuesday.